Ever wanted to get started on options but find it too daunting or overwhelming to start? Fret not. This video will get you started with the basics of options. Let us begin and jumpstart our options journey. Welcome to The Money Dove, a channel all about stocks, options, investing, and financial decisions to embark on a journey towards financial freedom. Be sure to like and subscribe. When people think of options, they think of high-risk and sophisticated trading tools that only professionals have the skills to pull off. What if I tell you that the ordinary man on the street could also master it and add values to his or her investment journey? Understanding options and utilizing it well could differentiate a trader that could consistently outperform the market from a trader just achieving average return. As much as this sounds like an impossible task, it isn't as difficult as one would imagine. All it requires is a good understanding of the underlying risk, and even more importantly, a strong discipline. Options aren't all about taking on risk and making big gamble. In fact, it could reduce the amount of risk in your portfolio. The right use of options could generate strong, consistent returns, all while reducing the portfolio's risk. Now let us dive right in to the world of options. So, what exactly are options? Think of options as an insurance policy or a lottery ticket. You buy an option to guard against undesirable circumstances or for a chance at an outsized gain. Tossing aside all the complicated financial jargons, an option is simply a contract between two parties: the seller, who is the underwriter of the option policy, and the buyer, who buys and holds the policy. The seller of an option contract sells the promise to the buyer that in some specific circumstances for the buyer or holder of the option contract has the choice or right to get the seller to fulfill his obligations. Such obligations usually involve promises to buy or sell an asset at a predetermined price and predetermined time. The predetermined price is known as the strike price, and the predetermined time is the expiry date of the option. However, unlike a purchase agreement or a sales agreement, the buyer or the holder of the options is not obliged to carry out the agreement. In other words, the holder of the contract has the right and not the obligation in executing the agreement. This is why the contracts are called options contracts. The buyer could decide whether to execute the agreement, depending on whether the outcome of execution would be favorable to him or her. A put contract gives the holder the right to sell something, while a call contract gives the holder the right to buy something. Let's get started with some examples. Here we have Annette, who owns shares in a great beverage company. Let's call it Taste Great Company. She loves the beverages from Taste Great Company and sees huge potential in them. Unfortunately, there was a series of food scandals that swept the industry recently and impacted various beverages companies. Annette is afraid that Taste Great Company will be the next in line to be hit by the scandal. Annette could choose to sell the shares in Taste Great Company to completely take the risk off, but she believes firmly in the company and its prospect. Despite her strong belief, Annette is afraid of the short-term risk that the scandal brought forth. Instead of selling the shares, here is what Annette could do. She could choose to buy a put option on Taste Great Company instead, which give her the right to sell the shares at the strike price. If Taste Great Company is worth $100 per share right now, Annette can choose to buy a put option with 3 months to expiry with a strike price of $95 per share. The put option gives her the right to sell the shares at $95 per share in 3 months' time. However, there's no free lunch in this world. Annette has to pay $1 per share up front in order to purchase the put option. This is also known as the option price or option premium, and this is the insurance premium the option seller requires for taking on the risk. Fast forward to 3 months later. Taste Great Company was implicated in the scandal, its brand name was tarnished, loyal consumers of the brand ditched the company. As a result, sale plummeted, dragging along the share price all the way down to $50 per share. Despite the big drop in share price, Annette still has the right to sell the share at $95 per share, saving her a whopping $45 per share compared to selling it now. Given that there is a gain in exercising her option to sell the shares at $95 per share, Annette goes ahead and exercises the options. Pretty impressive result considering she only paid $1 per share for the insurance. In the event that nothing happened to Taste Great Company, Annette keep her shares and the option expires worthless. Life goes on, and Annette could continue to support Taste Great Company as a consumer of their great beverage, and more importantly, a shareholder invested in the company's future. And all she did was to only pay $1 per share for a peace of mind. Next, we will explain how a call option works. While a put option gives the buyer the right to sell something, a call option gives the buyer the right to buy something. Now, imagine a bright young man, Edward, who is intrigued by the world of tech. He identifies a great company called Human Light, working on agentic artificial intelligence. He tested their products, which is still in its beta stage. Walking away flabbergasted about how well it performed, Edward firmly believes that Human Light is way ahead of their competitors in this field, and that agentic artificial intelligence is the next big thing to change the world. While Edward is tempted to throw in his life savings into Human Light, he feels like he is taking on too much risk by simply buying the shares with all his money. Edward feels that while Human Light is way ahead of their competitors in the field of agentic AI, there is no guarantee that some other companies would not catch up or surpass Human Light. He feels that it could easily end up as a winner-takes-all field, which could see Human Light's share price evaporating if they don't win the agentic AI race. Edward was considering putting in only a fraction of his savings, but was conflicted over how much to invest. This is when Edward came across call options and decided it could suit his investment thesis. Right now, Human Light is trading at $10 per share, while its call options with strike price of $20 per share and 1 year to expiry are trading at just $1 per share. With just 10% of his savings, Edward could take on as much underlying exposure as buying the shares outright with all his life savings. Understanding that the options could expire worthless, Edward decided it was still a worthy endeavor for him and bought the call options. Fast forward to a year later. Human Light hits the headline, with their further improved version of the agentic AI hitting the mass market. Sales soared, and everyone just cannot get enough of having their little personal assistant, be it at work or in their daily life. As a result, the share price of Human Light soared to $100 a share. With the call options Edward purchased at just $1 per share, he could now buy shares at $20 per share, making a tidy profit of $80 per share. His lifetime savings ballooned to almost 9 times its original amount. It is an impressive feat to make a tidy profit of $80 per share with a cost of just $1 per share. However, the downside is also big, as the option could expire worthless if the company did not take off, which could result in Edward losing 10% of his life saving. Scary, isn't it? Congratulations! Now you understand how basic put and call options work. Beyond the examples given, there are a lot more ways which options are used in the real world. The beauty of options lies in the limitless combinations one could achieve by buying or selling different put and call options at different strike price or expiry. Compared to equities, which people usually just buy and hold, or short, the world of option offers ordinary investors like you and I a lot more options in the way we design our portfolio. Puns intended. More importantly, ordinary investors do not need to master every aspect of options to bring additional value to their investment portfolio. Even basic options knowledge can take you very far with strong discipline. We hope you like the content. We would be sharing more videos on investment and options, so be sure to catch them. See you in our next video.